and the goals of PE. So with the definition, objectives and goals kay we can also have new or we can learn new teaching strategies in teaching PE for the elementary students na matap ang cognitive function of the child, which is the physical, the mental, social, and emotional development of the child. We also kanang perform katong na part gi share ni Miss nga nag-perform tag mga small movements lang para anang mas active pa sad ta. And we also Miss Net and others kanang share their success and tips of physical education. And lastly, we also discuss the physical literacy, which is kanang the motivation and the confidence of maintaining physical activity with our life. So that would be all, Miss.
Thank you so much, Angelica, for that comprehensive explanation regarding physical education. So, true enough, we discovered a lot of things already, and today we will continue with much activities regarding strategies and techniques in teaching our young children for physical education. So, these were some of the exercises that we need to do as we are able to perform some body compound exercises workout. So, needless to say, moving is still a vital important role even if we are in our household. So galaw-galaw din dyan. Maybe like small warm up lang from the morning, from the time we wake up, even during our classes. So we don't just do our sedentary life just sitting down. Sometimes I would discuss while standing. Mag-stand ko, I have an hour or I have a class, I will stand. So I will need to elevate my computer and sometimes sit down also. And I have a little disc here where I can keep on dancing while I am on the off cam mode here. So make sure that you move around. Same also with some children. They need to do bodily kinesthetic instead of just sitting down. How about you? Do you fidget? Do you do other stuffs while you listen to your teachers? Key in your answers. Do you water the plants in there? Maybe some of you are in the groceries, or are you in your lantay sleeping, or are you in the swing? Maybe some of you there are doing other sideline. Naninda baron mo? Or eating. Your mouth has been exercising, it keeps on running. So key in your answers. What are other things you do aside from listening to the teacher, since you have the freedom actually to do there? Maybe uban sa inyo namilo, walking, or you can have, or basta ayo lang ang taking a bath, no? Danon man ninyo kay basin na ma-open nagkalitin yung mga camera din ha, mas censored. Yes, writing also, maybe jotting down some notes, or some of you guys are ordering or thinking of something. Charot si Angeli. So, so today we will revisit what is the conceptual framework of physical education aligned to our Department of Education, and what will be the things that we're going to teach to our individuals. So let's try to check this DepEd curriculum. So in the K to 12 curriculum, which was given to us, although this was made available for everybody, we go back to the basic of the essential things for our children in the future. So K to 12, as an overview for this basic framework, they seek to have 21st century learners, meaning the cognitive side and critical thinking skills. At the same manner, it includes also interpersonal social skills in communication, even leadership is entailed in here because we wanted our students to really magnify their love for movement. So if the font size is so small, you can actually pinch your cell phone so that you can zoom it in. And I will also provide you the copy for this curriculum guidelines that we have. In P also we wanted our fitness to be not only just movement without meaning, but our child should know the holistic formation that we wanted them to do from elementary going to the high school. And in that sense, that includes the basic knowledge, values, skills that we need to integrate. Okay, for today, before I would continue, I will need to do some fun trivia games with you guys. So I have here a link for some quizzes. All you have to do is to key in your answers. Later on, the person who has plenty of points will get a load from me for today. Okay? So key in your answers for the sports trivia. All you have to do is just to give the correct answer. So you will have 10 pesos if you are correct. Who won the most recent NLF Super Bowl this year or last year? If you love Super Bowl, who's the winner for 2020? Okay, what's your answer, guys? Yes, Thea is correct. They are the Chiefs actually won the Super Bowl. Okay, now that was an answer already. Chiefs and the 49ers. There were some of the famous players. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, my next question, I will just skip that one because I revealed the answer. What NBA player or who is this NBA player that moved from the Cavaliers to the Lakers? If you are a sports fanatic, you know this one. He's so sikat.
LeBron,
Yes, you are correct. Who was that?
LeBron James.
LeBron Miss.
LeBron James. Is that you, Francis? You will have 10 pesos later. 10 peso load. Correct. That is LeBron James. So he transferred to Cavaliers and eventually they had fans were mixed emotion when he did that one, but he has his own reasons why he did that thing. Okay, let's continue. Okay, get ready guys. How many football teams are there in the NLF? How many football teams are there in the NLF? In the NLF playoffs or the
Seven,
National
18
Football
miss.
League? How
18.
many professional teams are there? Let me
32, miss.
see.
20
Let me
miss.
see. What is
32
your
miss.
answer? Key in your answers, guys. Let me
20
see.
miss.
The correct answer is there are actually 32 teams divided into equally numbers of the National Football Conference or in American Football Conference. So 32 is the answer. Who got it first? That is Jinky. Oh, you will have 10 pesos later. Next. Next question. How many soccer players are there in one field at once? How many soccer players are there in the field at once?
11 miss.
How many soccer players are there? If you
11.
play soccer football, you would know the answer. I'm a soccer football player. Sometimes I'm the goalie. 10? Are you sure? Oh,
11, miss.
straighten your facts in
Both
sports.
teams.
Okay. Analyze the question. How many soccer players are there in one field at once?
22.
22.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Correct answer is dang, 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 22 because there are 11 players man on each side. Let me see who got it first. Correct answer. It's you, Jovi. All right. Next question. Next question, guys. Okay. Ready? Why did I open it? Okay. Next question. What sport does Sean White play? Who is Sean White? Where does he play? Key in your answer. Who is Sean White? I think wala pa nakaget og answer from here. Who is Sean White? Key in your answers. Let me see. The correct answer is, I think someone answered, he is actually a snowboard champion. So snowboarding or skateboarding can be the answer. Who answered it first? Okay, Mary, you will have 10 pesos later. Okay. Next. What sports? This is so easy. What sport does Simone Bales participated in without searching? Come on. She's so good at her work in her sports. She's so sikat because of her inspiring story. Okay, come on guys, key in your answer. Who is Simone Bales?
Gymnast, miss.
Let me see if you got it correct. The correct answer is she's actually a gymnast and she does a lot of this exhibition and a lot of her presentation. Okay, who got it first? Okay, Thea got it first. Okay, this will be my last question. Okay, how many miles is a marathon? How many miles is a marathon? How many miles is a marathon? How many miles is a marathon, guys? Let's key in your answers. So the correct answer for that is it contains 26.219 miles. So the length of that for one marathon or the mile is equivalent to the length of 26.219 mile. Okay, who got the correct answer? Who key in the correct answer? Okay, we have Irish Amorin who key in the answer. So congratulations. Okay, the last one. What is Canada's national winter sports? What is their winter sports? What is their winter sports, guys? Snowboard, lacrosse, skating, hockey. What is their sports? Of course, their sports should entail some snow, and that is the game that exclude us because we don't have that one. That should be ice hockey. It should be correct word, huh? Ice hockey. Someone answered hockey, but the correct is ice hockey. Okay, congratulations, Irish. Pas keyboard warrior man din si Irish. For that is the end of our game. So for those player, you need to tell me your cell phone numbers later so that I can pass to you your.
This time,
I will share to you another story that is very dear to me. So, in the world of sports and in the world of physical education, we can move forward if we hear stories that are inspiring, or even special people, special needs, who has already different disability but still able to thrive in the sense of physical education. But in the field of women, since March is upcoming and we are for strong empowerment for women, I would like to share to you the story of Catherine Switzer. Do you know her? Have you heard her about her story?
No, miss.
Basin nakapalit na ni din sa inyong tindahan gang. Si Catherine Switzer. She's still alive actually. But she plays a very important role in the lives of women. You don't know her, Jovi? How come you don't know her, Jovi? Okay, I'll share to you her. So that was the story of Miss Catherine Switzer. Because before, we knew that young individuals, especially if they are women, they're not allowed to go to school. They are not even allowed to have proper education, right? Now, what can you say regarding that story? What is your comment? What is your comment, guys, for that short clip of Miss Catherine Switzer? Okay, you can key in your comments. Indeed, very inspiring, no? Because if she didn't finish, even if she was pushed, even if she was discriminated and attacked and did not finish the race, maybe until now boys are just the one winning the marathon or even enjoying the kind of sport. So sometimes we just need to step up and level up the game because you might be the first one to break the barrier, just like the Hosanian adage or motto that we have, breaking lives, empowering barrier. I joke, wait, breaking barriers, empowering lives. Diba? So determination is the key indeed, no? So very inspiring that this woman started her way for the other women to be part of the marathon in which we enjoyed. Who among you here are marathoners or runners? Even if 5K, 10K, there are small mile that we can start in our marathon or jogging. So wow, 6K for Jovi. So in here, I wanted to share to you about her because of the role that she played for our individual. We know, guys, that the world is waiting for us. So step up. I know that you are the elementary teachers and you are all now third year. So you have somehow crossed the bar from the freshman, sophomore, and now you are on your brim of really acquiring a lot of things and even behaving like a teacher. And you need to learn things as much as you do so that you'll be able to somehow hone yourself as a best elementary teacher, or maybe we don't know if you will be assigned into a high school. Basta you will be a teacher, or maybe if not a teacher, a person with dignity. And I want to leave this word to you. The world is waiting for you. You need to level up yourself and dream big. Who else will? Si Kuya will? O, diba? So, dream. Even if we are in lockdown, you still have the opportunity to dream and still continue to shine for a better individual, either in your localities or even in the world in the future. Okay? So, going back to our PE, health, and education, we actually align things in the sequence for the curriculum guide for our young students. And it brings back to us that even if our children right now, they might be disenfranchised with the physical activities, still they need to have some movements, let their bodies move. And what are those curricular philosophy that P is integrating? So actually, it should include value, knowledge, skills, experience, and even physical activities. Mainly, not only for optimizing for the health, but also physical fitness. And I know that you've shared already a lot of stories when we had in our elementary or even in high school, the fun things that we do. But it should not only stop in there. So the curriculum also helped us in the view of physical activities like doing household chores, family orientation, and environmental settings. Don't you know that some of these businesses, they also offer some fitness facilities, or even if you buy a condominium, they offer a lot of lifestyle facilities where you can do some workout, gym, swim, or even play some basketball games. And we need to move our learners in the context of these physical activities that is not only games, sports, but we can also have recreation through dances and even movements through ballet or hip hop can also be part of physical education. And what can be the learning outcome? So we need to prioritize the skill of assessing, synthesizing, evaluating information, and making them to analyze their decisions. So In teaching also PE for young children, we have these four things to make up in mind. First, habitual physical activity participation to achieve in maintaining also health enhancing levels of fitness. Question: do you still move in there? Do you still try to do some Zumba dance exercise, even if it's locked down, even if you're doing online class? So make sure that you are able to galaw-galaw din. Diba? You share that one. You had biking, you exercise in the morning, walking. I would like also to ask for an apology if Saturday and Sunday I don't message, or if you are on my Zen zone mode, because what I usually do on weekends, I really need to shut off my gadget, and then I would resume evening of Sunday. That's what I usually do. I need to be outside. I need to lag for a while. Need to rest, because imagine whole day we need to be in the online world, in the Zoom class or in the MS Teams, and then in the evening I'll prepare my slides. I make it substantial for you guys, and even other inquiry can be done during the night. So weekdays we really need to get out, be with the plants, be with the ecosystem, be in the beach. So you also be with the real people face to face. You talk to your family, you talk to your siblings, or even to your lola and lolo if they are still there. And you can dance together, di ba? My brother and I, we usually go sometimes in Naga, we play badminton, or sometimes we go to Pangilatan. Or who wants to go with me in Pangilatan Peak here in Naga, here in Minglanilla? Just key in. It's free and it's nice in there. It's for beginners in trekking. Another thing is that number 2, competence in movement and motor skills requires the various physical performances. So it includes big movement and also the fine and gross motor skills. So there are a lot of activities that we can do aside from following on YouTube, or we might admire those sensational people that we see in their nice workout, in their nice outfit, but we can do perform little things. But mind you, not all workout and fitness activities would be applicable for us, because we have the so-called hormone misfiring. Those who have PCOS or the PCOS, or we can also have hormonal imbalance, especially for women. That's also difficult for them to lose their weight. And also the autoimmune system. So sometimes, kapila pa na nimo pag-workout din ha, kapila pa ka mag-diet, if your body hormones is not cooperating and it's misfiring, it will not help you achieve the level of body figure that you desire. Next one, valuing physical activities for enjoyment, challenge, social interaction, and career opportunities is also the standard that we wanted to do in our K to 12 PE. Meaning, enjoyment, we really need to enjoy in our activities and game. Who among you here loves badminton? I'll key in your answers. Maybe some of you here enjoy swimming, enjoys performances in dancing, di ba, mga hip hoppers, or you just enjoy games because your friends are there, or it's a career opportunities for others, just like Manny Pacquiao. He really need to work best and hard so that he can be in his topmost career. Even kapila na siya napildi, no, si Manny Pacquiao, people would criticize him, people would doubtful about his ability already, but still he is there in the ring. And I can still remember those times when the Sundays would be very peaceful. Pwede ka maghigda sa kalsada basta salida or basta game ni Manny Pacquiao. Wala jud kay crime rate or magdagandagan jud mis kalsada sa una, guys, kay wa joy tao ni gawas basta magsalida na si Manny Pacquiao, kay di pa man tuuso ang face kayo sa una nya. Atong mga papa ug mga tiyo ug lolo, no, pustaanay dayon, pundok-pundok dayon ta nya. Sometimes we already know the balita because the radio They are so advanced in announcing, but it's really different if we see him on the ring. Yan. TV pa man tadto magkatapok sa una no kay upa man to'y live on Facebook or kuan adto tas mga dato nga nay cable kay pay-per-view adto gyud ta magtan-away niya. Apil pud tag syagit for Manny Pacquiao kay so na lang ang pusta sa atong mga papa. Kahumandayon celebrate din and it was really a value for career opportunities for him. Same manner also with some of our friends or who might be athletes or those individuals who are doing their best in the different fields. Si Viraa, um, inter-school competitions that are held for the students, both private and public schools. Next one, we want our students to understand various movement concepts, the principles, strategies, and the tactics that they need to apply in learning physical activities. So what are the importance of these things, especially leading to the holistic formation, but in physical to be exact. Okay. What are the learning approaches that we can do? So physical literacy involves the motor and the activity specifically for our learners. So for early graders, we taught them the what, the why, and the how of the movement. Like for example, what are the first primary steps? Diba? You have that one when you execute that one properly. And why do we use that one? So usually in dances, the rationale should be included and stories for each dances should be introduced to our learners. So you need also to research and evaluate these things so that your kids will understand why we do such thing. Next one is that we need to develop mature movements for the motor skills and the fine motor skills and even the gross as they do some exercise, sports, and dance activity. Dili kay diretso ra, okay guys, let's play today badminton. O wala mo nag-warm up. Then eventually, dali ra kayo na pamaulan or may mga injury for some kids. Another thing is that build knowledge and skills in order. You will have to make out plan and set goals for the monitoring of your exercises. So you need to identify if the child has hika, asthma, what else? Other strenuous activities is not allowed or naba na siya sakit sa heart. Who among you here, do you have mga sakit-sakit sa heart guys? Or sakit sa heart kay gibuwagan na kaniya? Or wala kay ka-date through February 14? Don't worry, daghan na ta. So you should know also those things because you might just be able to let the child masalang lang siya dito sa basketball game or imong tawgon dayon o ikaw Irish wala man ka nagdagan-dagan day diri yeah, you don't know the child is uh, not allowed for some strenuous activities. You only to figure out na gihangak na dito kay paypaya na sa classmate gibutangan na og ka ng white flower gipisil-pisil na ang hands ang kiting kay padung na makuyapan. So we really need to identify and if you will be a PE teacher in the future, you have also protocols like there's a measurement of the weight, the BMI, if there are family or medical history that includes for the child. So you really need to have those red flags. Another thing is that the learning approach that we can remember is the personal lifestyle. So right now we will start how to eat healthy, how to warm up, how to start with some activities that we really like. So we really need to move guys. And in preparing for activities, we need to be DAP. So nag-DAP means kubidi DAP, 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 DAP. So DAP, developmentally appropriate practices. So we will not provide activities that are very strenuous. For example, you will let your grade 5 pupils weigh, carry a 10 kilo weigh. Diba? Hala, dili man na siya mao. So we need to provide appropriate activities or maybe we really need to follow what is given to us in the K to 12 basic education curriculum. It's also good to experiment sometimes, but remember, there are individuals who studied already with what are the things we need to teach them. Next one is to constantly evaluate the integrated activities and lifestyle. So make sure also you need how to uh, check yourself because students would see us as their reflection. Mo na sila, si Miss lagi kay tamo kayo anong health PE health man na nato siya nga teacher dili lagi na siya nice nga model. So dapat sad no pag-exercise sad ta and we need to promote lifelong learning for a healthy lifestyle. And it's so good also to see if they would know that we are also athletic, if we love people who are in sports or the athletes alike. Then we also emphasize the things that we do for this what, how, and why movement so that our 21st century learners will be able to develop and aspire in the continuity of the PE. So what are the learning strands that we are expected? So we should have the body management, provides us the awareness, the space, the qualities, and the relationship of these movements. Because there's some kids, when they move, madagma sila or dali ra kay sila masukamod. And these things, they might have an injury or sometimes mabully sila because their friends would tell them, ala, lampayatot, ay dili lang ta makig-member ana niya, uy, kay kanang hinay ka na siya mudagan. Do you have that attitude before? Mamili mo kin sa inyong kagrupo? Aminin. No, dili ninyo piliun tong mga weakling. Kay dali ra mo mapildi. Or dili ka mo catch. Oh, we have that attitude before or di ka makig-partner or kanang patay mali siya dayon if wala to'y partner mo na si teacher, oh, your friend here doesn't have a partner who wants to choose him or her. Ah, di ko ano, di na ka ba mo duwa. So we have that mentality already. So that is why as a teacher, you really need to provide body awareness, body space for your students, and aside from that, relationship of these things unto themselves. Next, movement skills related to the fundamental movement. So, the movement of non-locomotor and the locomotor skills. Give me examples of non-locomotor skills. What are examples of non-locomotor skills? Key in your answers. Okay, non-locomotor, not moving to the other direction. So, you're just there. Standing, what else? Twisting, turning, jog in place, sitting, bending, um, and then we have also the locomotor skills like jogging in to and fro. So we have a lot. Games, number 3, the learning strand. Games and sports consisting of simple, lead and indigenous games as well as the dual and the team sports. You know this one? Bagay jud kay ni sa kiat pareha ninyo. We're supposed to really do a lot of games. So in teaching also PE, you cannot just tell them, okay, imagine guys, gidakop, okay, imagine guys, gidakop na ni Jovi si Kuan ha, si Jilly. O, dakpa na ka Jilly, hago na ka, hit na ka. We cannot do that one, di ba? It really entails the physical game, the physical activities. Supposedly, if we do some PE, I could have prepared a lot of Larong Pinoy, all those indigenous games that we have. Luksong Tinik, Chinese Garter, what else? Patintero, sack race. We even have sepak takraw, sipa, takyan, batulata, all those things. You know, when I went in Europe to play, for camp, we prepared a lot of larong Pinoy. Ya, lingaw kayo kay they didn't know nga magamit din ni ang lata for some games, slipper games, and luksong tinik. Ganahan kay sila mo play ato ng mga indigenous game nato ba. But it could have been fun if magduwa ta tamaylan gud nato ang kinsay di nakadagan og maayo. And then we also have the modern sports such as badminton, volleyball, basketball, or even table tennis and swimming. So that were part of our recreational setting. But now, our recreation was more on gadgets, mobile legends, or we can see a lot of people doing online games, online performances. Before, traditional games has been an inclination for most people. Yes, Candy Crush para sa mga olders. So before, the recreational games was more on real activities, but now you can just install um Wii or what else. There's 'di ba, may mga virtual reality game that you can just play in there. You're holding your remote control nya. Mura ra rin ka nagduwa din hagkuan. Badminton or your ping pong, but you're just doing it in the computer, or you're playing golf but virtual, but you have the golf equipment and then you would strike them. So rhythm and dances includes rhythmic movement patterns, and we need to promote also the appreciation of folk dance, indigenous and traditional dances as well, and the different forms of dance. So this one also entails a lot of historical reading. What is the meaning of tinikling, karinyosa, subli? So before you let your students perform those things, let them understand and appreciate also why these things has been created by the early Filipinos or the ancient people, and why is it promoted in their social graces. Example, why is it tinikling? Because it's from the word or a bird tickling, who usually is being, it's rampant before. The bird is part of the culture whenever women are harvesting and getting their things for livelihood. The tickling is there playing, and so as the movement that they do in the tinikling. Another thing for the learning strand is physical fitness includes assessment. So there's fitness tests, records, and also you as a teacher, you need to have your pile of the file of recording for interpreting, planning, and implementing if the program is enjoyable. If not, what are the changes that we can do? Is it doable for the students or not? So, of all these things, we have the spiral approach from elementary until you go to senior high school. It's still there. It's still creating the well-being of your students. So this is the spiral approach that we will have in the physical education literacy. So from grades 1 until K to 12, we move to learn and learn to move. This is the basic principle, the basic conceptual framework that we have to remember in physical education. So first, there's a self-awareness. So the child should know, this is my body, this is my extremity, and with all my torsos, I can move. I can freely move. Then with family, he or she can appreciate that I can play along with some games and sports with my family. And later on, it would escalate with, aside from playing with my family and friends in school, I can have competition in community. So that is the mentioning of some liga. Who among you here kay manung og mga towns before, if you're a representative in liga of volleyball, basketball, di ba uso man ano kung kanang naay fiesta, we usually have that one. I can remember I organized liga before. Pamitig pangita og um sponsors sa mga jerseys, sponsors sa mga muse, sa mga trophy, sa mga bulam, sa pa na mga net. But now, because of pandemic, gipangguba ang mga ring, gipangtangtang. And usually if kanang exciting kaayo maingon din, hala mo tan-aw jud ta sa liga ron kay naa ang taga kuan, taga Tulay, taga Mingla man mi guys, naa taga Tulay or nay taga Naga or nay taga USJR mo duwa. 'Di ba, sometimes the athletes are invited for a game or other schools, or when we go to Cebu Coliseum kinsa man to sa inyo ha nang absent sa una be inyo kung giabsinan kinatanaw mo atong mga visitors adto sila sa Cebu Coliseum. Or when the volleyball player, I remember that one, there was a volleyball team, sikat na mga girls, they went to the school, nagpa-picture, and then they promoted some ice cream. You remember that one? Nahibong na lang kung anong asa man ako mga estudyante. Naadi dito sa silong kay nahi artista na abot. So we have a lot of things to share, especially for, yes, Creamline. So I can still remember before also when there's my mga crush na ko sa basketball, adto jud ko dito magsyagit-syagit gyud ko. Okay. Going back, so fitness is for lifelong learning. Fitness is lifetime. And same also with our young parents, no? For our mothers, our family members, we always wanted to inculcate or to integrate them with physical activities para dili sila dali masakit, dali uh, ma-tired or mga lethargic on the other hand. So the basic physical literacy is this illustration in front of you. So from kindergarten until senior high school or 12, basically the literacy falls into the body management and to the rhythmic dances and games. So also it connects to the university or even the college subjects that you have. So first, the fundamental movement skills. So that is why there are basic field demonstration. It's intended for young kids. Nagyo na siya pirmi. So in the future sad, you will have to conceptualize what is your music, what's your dance, what are the formation for your students. Nya unsaon na nimo pag-coordinate. For example, uh, Teacher Mary, you have 45 students in your group. Inyong sayawon kay kuan the famous song TikTok Savage Love nya depende na ni teacher unsa niya pag conceptualize nga na entrance exit nice movement nga dungan sila with all those costume with all those props so that they would win the contest nya maro man kay ni atong mga principal. They usually give us some competition so that you will also have some incentives or points if your group will win the game. Another thing is fundamental motor skills. So it will be the start of some specific sports for young kids. So that includes introduction to some badminton, we have volleyball, basketball, or sometimes gani the larong Pinoy. It's already introduced. Then as they escalate also, it's integrated for rhythmic dances, games, and sports. So you remember before, you pasayaw mo folk dance when you were still in high school? Or you had some salsa, rumba, jive. We had that one in our university days, diba? And you have a lot of contests. It was fun because you sometimes discover, hello, kabalo di ko musaya or kabalo di ko ani nga sports. Or sometimes you will feel inferior because hala, may kayo siya. Dili man ka ni siya kanang mutok gid sa klase, di gid siya may academically, pero may kayo siya sa sports. So daghan tag ma-discover ana. And usually we invite them to represent us in our university days. So as a teacher, you need to do activity based. So mao na pirmi gyud na mga skills, mga games, activities, showing the guidelines and steps before you proceed to the execution. And what are those developmentally appropriate activities for kids? Standard based, meaning there's an equivalent skills that are needed to be targeted and achieved for your students. Di lang kay, okay class, today is payday, let's play. It's your free time, rest time. So there are skills intended. Then integrate it. Can either be with health, with science, if you have the knowledge with the law of motion and inertia, ano pwede sila ninyo ikuan. Then integrate with the formation of the reflexes sa muscles, unsa na siya mga names sa mga sternum, clavicle, inyo sad na siyang i-inform din ha. Inyo na i-integrate with science. Then if for example with graph, pwede sad ka mag-graph, pwede ka mag-math. For example, this team has 18 points and this team has 25 points, or whose team has more game wins and what are the losses and what are the probability. So pwede sa din ana si teacher, di ba? It's not only just PE. So there should be an integration so that you can relate it to real life. Kaya di man pwede ang life nga one chunk of the subject lang. And of course, inclusive. So if there are students or kids, for instance, with special needs, either diabetic, either maybe kanang ilang health problems or asthmatic, you can still include them. Okay, sige. Your name, Rose. Okay, since Rose has asthmatic problem, you can be the scorer, Rose. Okay, since you cannot have some very strenuous activity, or okay, Francis, since you are uh, heart problem, bago pa ka na broken hearted, diri sa ka, ikaw ay timekeeper, time watcher. So yun na, you still integrate. You don't just exclude them. Lingkod lang ka, uy, kay madlok tanimo, matantangan tag lisensya. So you put them in a scenario that they still have responsibility in their activities, because we cannot let them uh, zero reject man ta. Zero reject education man atong gina-provide. So we need to be inclusive somehow. And if we have special kids, it's a different story. If we have children with autism, if we have children with Down syndrome in our classroom, you need to know them. You need to know the level of interest and their level of physical activities. Okay? Ana siya. So in the totality, this is the conceptual framework of the physical health education for our DepEd curriculum. Okay. With them, it is also translated into this form of illustration. So for K to 12, learner demonstrates understanding of the movement. So what are those specific key standards that they need to achieve or to do the checklist? First, body movement. Then we also have movement skills, physical fitness, games and sports, and rhythmic dances. Then eventually, as it escalates, they have grades 4 to 6, learner demonstration, understanding on the principle of movement, the fitness, how to be active, how to have various physical activities, and then eventually grades 7 to 10. So mga ano na ni, mga dalaging ding. So what we do is the physical activities and behavior achieving into the active lifestyle, since they don't have sometimes they are already conscious with their bodies, ilang mga boobsies, if gifted kay sila, di ba, din na ganahan mo dagan-dagan, sana all gifted. So mo na, miss, pwede din lang ko mo uphill kaya makuan, or miss, sakit akong puson, di lang ko mo uphill sa mong game. Or lain po no, kung lalaki ang moingon, sakit yang puson, wata kabaw, or kuan, not feeling well. So you need also to accept their excuses, but make sure also that it's valid. Kaya kasi nag-acting na din ha, or dili gusto mainitan sa sun kay iyahang kuan beauty derm product, 'di ba? So or yang kilay mapapas, ang eyeliner sa gwapa. So you also need to encourage them that PE entails sweat, entails activities that would really make them tired. Pero nindot ba ang singuton ka no, because it will excrete some fluids that are toxic to the body. Right now, so this is actually the level strands for each learners that we have from grades 1 until 12. So first, it's just actually the same. The learner demonstrates understanding of the body awareness. So balik-balik ra gyud ni siya, guys. Then eventually, if they master already, you need to provide some enjoyable physical activities. Grades 4, 5, and 6, the learner must understand the physical fitness to the assessment of the activities. Sometimes teachers here would already choose some leaders in the team, and then they can just report to the teacher. Then samot na kung grades 7, 8, 9, 10, you just appoint your managers, and then they would help out in giving these things to us. Because sometimes manggod, there are students who might be more knowledgeable than us, in particular for the physical education, because they might have summer classes, nga gi-educate gid sila, they know the proper gripping, they know the proper skills intended, or they are just experts, or somewhat na if their parents are coaches and they are exposed to these levels. So sometimes we welcome them, we don't um, hinder them from helping us, but we tap their resources, we tap their knowledge also, because we don't know, they are an asset in our education in PE. So do not be threatened, do not be alarmed if pabright-bright ng bata ada sa lignikuan. So you use them, you use their resources, you use their knowledge, how they can be of help. Because sometimes kanang mga may o mga karate, mga taekwondo, they have all those colors, mga black belt, yellow belt, and all those things. So we also need them in our classroom. Okay. Next. So for grade 1, what are the expectation for them? Okay pa mo din ha guys? Buhi pa mo guys? Okay, key in your answers there. If you're still alive, you shout in there um, your PE teacher. Who were your PE teacher before in PE department? In your first year, second year, PE 1, 2, 3, 4. Making sa inyo, Sir Candia. Lo, no crush ka ni Sir Candia? Johan? Okay, joke. So, we have Ma'am Orema ko. Oh, kaway-kaway dyan sa mga na-under ni Ma'am Orema ko. I know the feeling. The feeling is mutual. Okay. So, love yun na ako si Ma'am Orema ko. Pero, stricta yun na si Ma'am. And you will really learn a lot of things from her. She's our queen in physical education. Now, going back, if you'll be a PE teacher in grade 1, your strand is more on the body movement, body management, movement skills, rhythm and dance, and some games, sports, and physical activities. And what are they going to do for quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4? So it's already given here, guys. So body awareness, muna na ay mga identification of eyes, body parts, like hands, arms, and simple movements. Space awareness, so they will start basically in quarter 2, more on moving na. So na sample exercise and then eventually some dances also. Then games. Quality of effort. So you need to introduce 2 different types of games, but games nga applicable pa sa ilahang age. Remember that, developmentally appropriate practices. Then build relationships, since they will transition into game activities, entails uniformity and unity with their friends. Then for grade 2, if you'll be on grade 2, you will also somehow benchmark on the same strand, on the same skills and activities, but more on basic shapes and the body actions already. Then locations, directions, level pathways, and planes. And there's also an explanation regarding time, force, and flow. Then somehow person, object, sounds, and environment. So we make this one engaging for them. The use of the routines like ribbons, hula hoops, balls, indigenous materials. Sometimes gani sa tuwa kay mga dahon, mga kawayan, or they have some relay or games to test their ability to have the race or marathon. Then for grade 3, we still include the same set of strands and activities, but I think it will just escalate or magkalisod ang ilahang mga activities. And sometimes they would remember or put some comparison like, ma'am, kato ganing last time ma'am no ako to'y nakadaog no. Nya hatagan ko nimog award or gihatagan ko nimog medal, or they can recall. Because usually in our intramurals for young kids, they just have basic games. Kana mag-intrams taga-tuwa, di ba? We have so many games and sports. Ang uban ninyo kay naninda, ang uban nito kay di mo eskwela, nilarga. Kung mag-intrams ta, mahibong na ta, uy, checking of attendance. Asa man si Johan? Hala, miss, di uli, miss, dito sa Bohol. O nilaag sa kuan, Hong Kong. O, sana all. So, we usually have these activities intended for our young children so that they too can have the opportunity to develop their skills, develop their physical movements, kumbaga. Pero ang uban ninyo, asa man mo inig ka-intrams, guys, nag-date-date mo sa inyong mga kuyaban, wa mo ni appeal sa pag-cheer, wa mo kitas kadaugan sa mga volleyball player, kaya namo sa Ayala, namo sa SM, aminin, kitaan na ko inyong mga picture, mga my day ninyo. Nagpa-check ra mo attendance or nagpaano ra mo, ning pasa ra mo sa slip, attendance slip. Okay, joke. Sige. Pero inana jud na no, mangita jud mo way guys para you support each other, especially if we entail intrams and we don't have cheerers. Di ba magmaoy sa di mo mga player, they want the spirit of entertainment, the spirit of there's people cheering for us, for them. Di ba Teya and Jilly, nindot man yun ang naimo chair sa game, bala na pildi, kulelat. Okay ra na siya, basta lingaw, kapoy siya gitsagit. Kahuman sa intrams kay, hasam de kung mga estudyante, ikaw na ako may cheer-cheer diri. Sometimes, misal, ha, teacher na ninyo? Kagamay, ana, sige man nagsyagit, kusog kay syagit. So they would tell those things to me. Now, for grades 4, 5, and 6, so the activities are somehow the same, but then there are targeted specific skills already intended. And somehow, invasion activities, more lisod na ni siya, more tedious, entails a lot of spirit or, or fun for the students to really engage themselves, and we need to leave the creativity to them. So, folk dances, mga ethnic and traditional creative dances, with alignment also and integration for history, ha? You need to really include history in your um in showing these things, in teaching them to your students. Not only nga, okay, you will be doing Karenyosa, or ipa-explain nila or i-research, or you also give some specifications of Cariñosa, why is it was a social dance, ganun ang Cariñosa is specific man ang iyahang costume, unsa may meaning compared sa nagsaya og itik-itik, ngano ana man ang costume sa itik-itik, checkered, barefoot, while Cariñosa has this special shoes, and even the Maria Clara and all the pamaypay, what are the meaning. So you will be doing those things, and then in the event that in your teaching demo later on when you will be fourth year, Ma'am Leia will give you, for example, okay, Irish, I will assign you for grade 7. You will teach folk dance. Hala, ma'am, folk dance, ma'am, grade 7. Mo na kung i-demo. Do not be alarmed. Do not, but take the challenge, because it's like that in the real sense of education. Ini ka-apply nimo dili ka kabuot. Ma'am, pwede grade 2 lang ko, ma'am. I'm so good with little children. I'm so good and I master already all the skills intended for grade 2 students or grade 1. You cannot choose your level. You cannot choose even your subject. That is why an elementary teacher is a jack of all trades, meaning you should have a knowledge of each of these subjects, because in the future you really are not prepared for whatever subject you will teach. Agree? Yes, you don't know, maybe si Francis dire ihatag ni niya ang math. Sir, we actually have open a hiring for grade 5 math. Okay ra ka, sir? Okay, laban jud kaayo. Ma'am Mary, we actually have a vacancy for science grade 6. I think I will place you here. And then in the afternoon, you will teach Filipino grade 5. Okay, Teacher Mary, and that's 2 section in the afternoon, and then actually 3 section in the morning. And by the way, Teacher Mary, there's also a vacant for PE teacher for grade 3. Okay ra ka, Ma'am Mary? And then si Ma'am Mary dahil si Teacher Mary, muli siya sa ila, ha. Asa man ko magsugod ani akong lesson plan. Unsaon man nako. Ingon man si teacher natin sa una, I should be a jack of all trades. O niya si Teacher Mary, kay di na din siya matug. Kay maghimo na siya sa iyang mga things. Mag-prepare na siya. And here comes Teacher Johan. Kay si Teacher Johan, na-hire man sa siya another private school. Uy, ma'am, madam, saan man ni madam? I'm in grade 5 English. Na-stress na ko aning mga grammar and all figure of speech. Nakay slides din ha, nakay PowerPoint din ha. O niya si Teacher Jovi, kay CC naman kay niya. Mura naman siya principal level. Okay, classmates, I would like to share. Pwede sa di, ana. You tap others' knowledge, you ask them activities, you ask them how they also navigate and how they are able to prepare their slides, presentation. Nya samot na kay nahimo man ni si Julie inyong principal in the future. Okay, you need to submit your test paper, all the subjects on Thursday because I will check it on Friday. Hala, nya naghimo pa ka sa imong PowerPoint. Naghimo pa ka sa imong quiz. Okay, for those who will not submit, you will be deducted 100 pesos on each page. Patay! So in ana, no, we need to envision ourselves that in the future, our life as a teacher will not be chill, right, guys? Because aside from teaching and braving our students with the slides, with a nice PowerPoint and explanation, sometimes kay magkurog pa kahala math kung saan gani ni siyang mga radical equation. Nakalimot naman ko ani. Uy, mag-review pa ka. Kahadlok pa jud siya limar kay what if your student is so advanced in math? Pangutan dayon ka, teacher, are we going to discuss the Pythagorean theorem in our section? Patay lami kay paghilom sa din ha kay na stress pa ko aning atong equation sa percentage and ratio. Hala ingon ana na siya mga langga no na we really need to embrace the subjects that are assigned to us. Kay if dili ka, di lang ko mag-teacher, mag-call center lang ko, oy, ay kanang mama, pwede mag-apply na lang ko sa SM, kanang bagger, or tig-check sa ilang mga order. Hala, ano na eskwela pa kag education gang ha? So, we really need to envision ourselves right now because you imagine, pa-chill-chill lang taan nirong ato ang 1 year. The next year, mukalit na nig-abot, hala, 4th year na ko, mag-practicum na ko, mag-teaching demo na ko, and we don't know next year, maybe it's face-to-face already. And this time, biya, ang inyong teaching demo, it's not face-to-face. So, lahi pud ang forte, lahi ang energy, lahi ang imuhang confidence and preparation that you will be giving. Because in next year, everything will be asked from you. You don't know, maybe all of your subjects will ask you to do a teaching demo. But now you still have your teaching demo online. You can have your codigo there pasted on your wall. What are your lines, explanation on? Amoy mga kuan din ha, visual aid. But when you do your teaching demo next year, it will be a hell. Amoy tulog. Nya, maabot pa jud na inyong research. Oh, I love research. Maabot pa jud na inyong ed curriculum with Sir Babia. Nya pahimuon mog school. Oy, kalami. So, ang mga teachers ani in the future sa 4th year, you guys, di na mo kailag pillows and bed sheets. Di na mo mag-best friends, anak guys. So, maghuna-huna na mo daan. Hala noon, sa man pag strategic ani di ay. Mama na manguyab mong na printer. Manguyab mong na daghang pagkaon, no? Para you will be managing your years next year. Hana siya, no? And then in the future also, manguyab mong na motor. Joke. Kaya asa mo'y hatod or nay sakyanan. Oy kamo ha, para pasiaw ra ng ato guys. Para sad we will still thrive to become better individuals. Okay? Sabot na way uyab, daghan na tani. Sige lang, it's still happy ra gyapon ta guys maski wala tay mga love life, di ba? Ang importante, buhi. Wala siya. All right, we will continue back to our show. So in grades 7, 8, 9, 10, the lessons will escalate. But somehow, they already have this one. If you properly engage your students in elementary levels with fun learning activities in PE, makaingon ni sila comparison. Nindo talaga ato mong PE. Ay, kabaw ko anak kay May kay napagkatudlo na ko ni Kuan, ni Ma'am Shalimar. Itong grade 3 ko, I can still remember. No, I can remember teacher Teya told me the right strokes in badminton and also how to do the volleyball. So they have an association because in PE, balik-balik na siya spiral activities or spiral curriculum is integrated in PE. Diba? That's why sometimes when we do our PE activities in our college level, maingon mo, hala, uy, man naman mi ani, uy, ganun, kailangan pa man mi mo do ani nga activities or I'm so good at it, sisiyo ra kay ni, chill ra kay ni, maka flat one ra jud ko ani. Nya kay, mag-oray mako man kaday, wa ka na flat one day. O, diba? So, pareha ta ni day, wa ta na flat one ni ma'am, oray mako. Okay, anyway, in the level of these activities that we do in our PE, remember, it's always having fun, skills, and achieving the expected outcomes for our learners. And then in the long run, everything is just there provided. Pero ang naka-different is the technique and how you deliver it. You know, all these things, pwede ro kayo ninyo mabasa, but the difference is when you deliver these things, lessons, your tatak Jovi or tatak Irish, tatak Johan in your teaching demo, that makes it more special, that makes it more appealing to the child niya. Samot na gyud if you include your heart, no? Kana concern gyud ka ba sa imong mga students that they would learn, they would be understanding the concepts that you teach. It's not only puros lang kiat, ma-excite sila. Yes, klase na pud ni kuan ni Ma'am ni Sir Francis today. Excited na pud kayo ko. Nya, sige ra mo fun walay skills, walay achievement of particular activities. Or man na sila, ay, klase na pud naman ni Ma'am Jinky ron, gwapa na bakit si Ma'am Jinky ako gitong crush. Unya kay si Ma'am Jinky di man sad mag-prepare kay mag-games ra man si Ma'am, magpasayo ra pa-video ra man si Ma'am sa YouTube sa ethnic dances. So we should be substantial. It should have some things exerted in the effort so that students will have fun and learning, di ba? That's what I wanted you to be in the future. Para ikakita na to, dala na ko sa kong anak. Oh, you don't know, you will be the teacher of my child. Ingon jud ko ninyo, tarunga jud niya akong anak og tudluha kay gitudluan ra bata mo sa teaching strategy. Mungutan ako sa kong anak. And then lang ga, what did teacher Jinky told you, man? How did teacher Julie teach you in math? And how about teacher Jovi? Did she told you about the science activities properly? Ala, patay jud mo. How about teacher Teya? Did she explain properly the three motions? Duklon gyud ta mo, padukol ta mo sa akong anak. So, you think that one in the future because the things, the skills that I have, I also wanted it to be shown by you in the future because ma-old naman si teacher natin, mabisi naman si teacher natin sa iyang family. So, kamo na sad mag-college teacher, di ba? After you'll take your masters, you'll have your degree program. So, kamo na sa mo puli na ko, kamo na sa mo position there in the College of Education. Ganon. Ganon dapat ang ating transitioning sa mga crown, sa mga ating mga activities in life. Di ba? Oh, kinsay binlan, o palihog kog tutor na akong anak di ay be, teacher Mary kay di man ika mao sa equation sa gitudlo sa iyang teacher dito sa kuan. O di ba? Ana dayon okay, I need actually a teacher who can do the seminar regarding o kamo din akong ipang tap. Kay nakapasa na mo sa inyong board exam. Di ba? I need a coach to teach science subject. O asa man ko mangita di kamo ra gyapon akong pangutan o next in the future. So you need to really level up your game plan and your skills. So you learn those things from your teachers. What are those best practices of Miss Chini or say best practices ni Teacher Nettie, ni Ma'am Eda, ni Sir Ayu? Then you merge that one to be the best teacher that you can be because you are actually a little of everything of your teacher. Diba? And you copy what are those best things that they do, then you apply it in your classroom. Kani si teacher kuan kay mag-prepare gyud siya iyang slides. Kani si teacher kuan lami kay siya mo enunciate sa iyang words. Kani si teacher kay buotan gyud siya available. You also think of what are those things that you do not want your students would experience. Like me, I don't want my students to feel they are neglected or left behind or kanang chill ra ilang teacher or wala sila makatunan. So you have those comparison with your teacher so that in the future you will be the best version of yourself. You'll be the best English teacher, science teacher, PE teacher, or even the mother, diba, of your students, of your children in the future. Okay, so I will just stop in there and then I will give another examples later on. Maybe you don't know si Chloe de inyong mahimong principal, hala mo. Kundi si Shanane and si Jolo, maghimo silang school, sila inyong mga amo. O, di ba sila mo mami, hire niya ko ma'am ha, kung mag-open mag-school. Ganon guys.